Press the record button. It'll start recording in 3 seconds, probably. Right? Probably. Probably. Okay, we're being recorded. Probability, underline the word probability, is a measure of how likely something will happen. Okay, so let me represent probability with a circle that I can shade. So if okay, so if the weatherman say there's a 50% chance that it will rain today, it means that it might rain or it might not rain. Okay, and if I was to shade the circle and I was to shade 50% of it, this was 50% is that amount. I remember 50% mean half.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that means if the weatherman say there's a 50% of it's going to rain, right? It's halfway likely it's going to rain. It might rain or it might not rain. But let's just suppose there was a big, big thunderstorm over Trinidad right now, which is not happening. We just pretending. Um, and let's suppose it was sure. The sky is dark, full of dark clouds. Thunder is rolling.
Excuse me, sir, drawing. That's in my book too?
It could if you want.
Okay.
Um, so okay, so this circle now is 100%, and okay, so this circle represents
Yes.
that how is 100% chance of it going to rain. And what would that, and here it was a 50% chance of it going to rain. And when I say chance, I could also use the word probability. There was a 50% probability that it will rain, and here it was 100% chance it will rain, meaning we sure it going to rain. Okay. When I think about probability, I remember myself as a teenager having crushes on girls, and I'm wondering, I wonder what's the probability of me getting through with that girl, boy? And I see this real nice looking girl, eh? It's, and she was so drop dead gorgeous, real good looking. She had perfect hair. I get stupid. I walk up to her in a party and say, you know, you have perfect hair. Well, for the rest of the party, everybody call me Mr. Perfect Hair. Oh God, I guess, and I never get through the girl at all because, of course not. I was not in her league. I like a little ugly piece of rubbish compared to this
So
girl.
true.
She was, and anyway, who cares? I don't even know what was her story now. But the point was, I had no chance of getting through with that girl. I had a 0% probability of getting through with her. So when I think about probability, that's what it means. How likely you're going to get through with something that you want to do. And I'm going to represent it here with shade in the circle. So in this case, me with that girl, whew, that was a 0% probability. That's an empty circle, right? And when we want to talk about probability, we could write it as a percent, or we can write it as a fraction. So just like how we write 50%,
Yeah,
we
so you
could,
should make that a note, I'll write that as a note in my book too.
so probability is written as a percent or as a fraction. In other words, there's a half. Your probability of the rain falling today is half. That means is right. That is what it means. If I say the probability of the rain falling is one whole, that's what I mean. 100% probability, and here it would just be 0. In the movie Dumb and Dumber, Jim Carrey asked the girl that he had a crush on, what is the chances of him getting a girlfriend like her? Well, getting her to like him, right? And be his girlfriend. And she told him that she don't want to be his girlfriend. He said, no, no, no. But just tell me, do I have a chance? What what kind of chance do I have? So she trying to tell him no. So she tell him, well, it's like you have a 1 in a million chance of ever being my boyfriend. And he smiled at her and said, so that means I have a chance. Like, well, you remember that in the movie? That so anyway, again, a probability of 1 out of 1 million would be that would be a very small little part of this entire red circle, right? That'd be a little tiny little speck, 1 in a million, right? So that is to give you an idea of probability. And in maths, I told you it's a measure. So we're going to so there's a formula for it which we're going to write down now. All right. So let me just make some points about it. Probability is usually is expressed. It is expressed as a fraction. It
So I
is.
can see where you're writing.
Hmm,
Okay, now I can see.
thanks. So probability is expressed as a fraction, and the fraction is usually some value between 0 and 1. A fraction between 0 and 1. Whoa, 1. What's wrong with me? Don't write that C. All right, so somewhere between 0 and 1, like half is a number between 0 and 1. Quarter is a number between 0 and 1. So I'm going to give you an example. Example like, say, a half or a quarter. These are numbers that are between 0 and 1. You could even have a probability of 0 or a probability of 1, as we colored the circle before. Express, right, as we could even have weird fractions like 1 out of 1 million. 1 in a million, which is highly unlikely. And they talk about the vaccine as well, with the COVID-19 vaccine. They said that how, people could get blood clotting problems if they take the Johnson and Johnson COVID-19 vaccine. However, they say out of 7 million people, four people got the blood clotting problem. So you could see in that story there, four people out of 7 million people got a problem with the vaccine. So look at that fraction. Does that fraction, if I was to color that in a circle, would that be a big piece of the circle or a very small piece of the circle?
Small piece.
Uh-huh. I would have to cut up the circle into 7 million pieces and then have 4 little dots in there, right? Yeah, it will be a very, very small
So
piece.
what would the dot? And so nothing
Good.
there.
It's so small you can't even see it, right? And that's the point itself. That it is so in other words, what is the likelihood of somebody randomly responding to this and to this vaccine in a dangerous way and end up dying from blood clotting? It is highly, highly unlikely. You're more likely to get an aeroplane to crash and land on your head than you're going and get sick from this vaccine. However,
Sir,
yeah,
That's still not gonna convince me to take the vaccine, sir.
Me too. I don't take any vaccine until a year or 2 years. I want to make sure and observe everybody properly first and make sure the people who get the vaccine could survive for a good 2 years later and have no kind of after effects. Next thing you know, 2 years later, all them people get vaccine.
Yes,
Turn,
sir, because I
turn.
think they're saying that all the energy minister, I think it was Franklin Clan, or whatever his name is, died from the vaccine. That was
But
some people saying.
yes, I hear that too. So he would have been one of these four people kind of thing. One of the few that was unlikely. But yes, besides dying from it, I saw a very scary WhatsApp video about it. How if you take the vaccine, it's going to change your own immune system, which can't change back. It's going to permanently change your immune system in a kind of like a permanent upgrade on your computer or something like that. Think of it like that. And you can't revert to the old version. You have the new version of a program and you can't go back to the old version. And what that means is that the new version supposed to be an improved version unless the new improved version has a little problem somewhere. Suppose, right, for example, what I saw on WhatsApp was that somebody claimed that the new vaccine will protect you from coronaviruses and certain viruses. However, it's going to make you not protected from certain other diseases, so that certain other diseases, if you happen to come in contact with certain other germs, different kinds of germs, which you normally would protect you. Now, those germs, you're not protected by those germs, so that if you accidentally bump into those germs where you was once protected, you're not protected anymore. And that means that how you could probably suffer really bad and even die from it when but that's only if you happen to meet such a germ. But if you're just lucky to never bounce up that germ, well, then you'll live and like normal. So I gonna just take a chance, wait patiently for a year or two, um, and see what's going on with the long-term effects of the virus, but of the vaccine. So anyway, you're getting the idea of this probability, and what the people were saying is that it's very unlikely for a person to get to die from a vaccine. But die or not, I ain't taking the chances yet, right? And that's just my position on it. Okay, so you getting the idea here with our point that we're making that probability is expressed as a fraction. Okay, could be a small fraction or ridiculously small fraction. It could even be a whole number of one. You can't have more than one. You can't have 1.5 and so on. Okay, you could only have from this is the highest you could have, so this is the lowest you could have. And anywhere in between that would be a fraction. Here we go. Our next point we want to make about probability is learn the formula. Probability is is calculated by this formula. It is the number of successful tries divided by all tries. Okay, and I'll explain that. Whenever you have a formula to memorize, put it in a border and write it on your back page of your book. Or if your back page full up with nonsense and what kind of stupid anime drawing and thing, Well, then go to your second to last back page and write down your formula. So when you want to cram for your exam, you turn back to the back of your book and make sure you could memorize all those formulas for your exam. Tell me when I could continue. Are you done copy? Probability equal.
Yes, I don't copy down everything.
Yes, sir.
All right then. So I'm giving you let's do a story to give you an example of this probability. Okay. Now, what I would normally do in class is normally I would actually be in class tutorial and line up all the oil from the shortest person. Let me draw people going up in a line. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, let me pretend we only have 8 people in the class. In reality, we would have about, say, 18 or 20 people in the class, or sometimes even more people. And so it'll be even more fun and interactive in
I
in
miss it in school, boy.
here, Miss. Yeah, I could imagine all your students have it harder than me because I am happily married. I have my wife already. And I have happy with my family and things. I happy to be home in heaven there with my wife and my kids and having a happy life there with my family and things. But I could imagine if I was a teenager and I wish I had a girlfriend. I wish I could go out there and meet the girl of my dreams and home stuck. And worse yet, if my phone mash up, oh God, I'm in trouble there. I feel like a man on a deserted island, starving.
Exactly. So, guys, how does it feel?
Mhm. Yeah, well, I just have to imagine what I felt like when I was a young teenager, which and just remember those days. But now I feel differently. Okay, so let's continue with our story. Let's suppose there were only 8 people in class. I wonder how much people in class today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh,
7.
7 people in class.
Including you is 8 attending.
All right, so let me just say we are 8 person. All right, so we have a class of 8 people, and these 8 people are lined them up in the back of the class by the wall, and sort them out. I sorted my list of people from shortest to the tallest one. Okay, so the
Ashanti will be first.
all
Oh,
right.
God.
Okay, so let me just say this person here was 4 feet high. And I'm not calling no names because this is a pretend story. And let me just say that this person here was like this one was this one was 6 feet high. And the rest of people was in between. So let me see. This might have been like say
So, I
4.
feel the anchor as the two tallest they know.
I'm not 6 feet. I'm not 6 feet. I could be like the second to last person.
For me, I find she real tall. I just have to look up to she to talk to she, so I find she real tall.
That's nice. That's good.
Okay. So I just given you a little idea here, right? This person was 4 feet tall. This person was 4.5 feet or 4.5. This one was 4 feet, well, 4.6 feet tall, 5.0, 5.5, and so on, right? Good. So you have a little number here to give you an idea of how tall they were. And the tallest one was 6 feet tall. All right. So now here's the question is, um, what is the probability of randomly choosing a student who is less than 5 feet tall. Okay, so here's the story, right? You ever see them children go to a birthday party and they blindfold them and they're playing a game called Pin the Tail on the
On the
Donkey?
donkey.
And you have the little
Yes.
picture of the donkey. Spin, they blindfold you, and they even
So
spin
my
you.
auntie do me that. That was real fun, I know. That game real
Yeah,
fun.
and they will spin you around, you get dizzy, and then you have to go and pin the tail on the donkey, right? And you have no idea where, how high or low or whatever, and take right. So that now think about it. Like I am the teacher, and you all are the 8 students in class. And imagine if I was to be blindfolded and spun around, and then the 8 of you all no longer stand up by the wall, but you all just mix up all yourself in the classroom in any order. And I kind of now have to just randomly choose somebody in class. So I'm not getting to see you all or decide if you're tall or short. I just have to randomly, blindly choose a student in class. So if that is the scenario where I am blindfolded, I cannot see the person to choose if they're tall or short. I just have to randomly choose a student. What are the chances of me actually choosing a student that is less than 5 feet? Am I going to get through all the time? Half the time? Or is it very
So
unlikely, like 1 in a million?
So very unlikely.
So now
it's very unlikely.
it says a bit unlikely that because it seemed to have a good bit of taller students in class. So it's a now we could actually, instead of using language arts words like unlikely or very unlikely, we in maths can measure how unlikely it will be. It doesn't actually predict um what will happen, but it does actually give you a mathematical measurement of what will happen. In case you all ever saw the movie Avengers, um, the guy Doctor Strange, Doctor Strange actually did a mathematical calculation in his mind about all the possible ways they could beat Thanos. And out of all the possible ways, there was like a 1 in a million chance that under one scenario where Iron Man dies is the only scenario he could play out in his mind where Thanos would die. But he could not tell anybody that and so on. But he had figured out the 1 out of a million possible ways that the fight could, the war could end up. He figured out the 1 in a million chance that they could beat Thanos. And that again is mathematical probability, 1 in a million. Do I have a 1 in a million chance of randomly choosing a student less than 5 feet tall? So this is we're going to calculate the fraction here, and remember we use the formula. The probability is equal to the number of successful tries. Now everybody can copy this down now. Says and it's been recorded too, so that you all could copy it out. If you don't finish copying it out now, that will be your homework. Number of successful tries compared to all tries. And again, we we learn this through the story being told. And I will continue my story now. Can I continue my story? You all copy it out later now because we
Okay, sir.
already we 2 minutes
Yes, sir.
over the time limit of our class already. All right. Wait, no, we're gonna finish at 10:05. Eh? Yeah, we have
Yes,
three
sir.
So we have 3 minutes left for class. So you copy this out afterwards. So how do we do the maths of this? And I'll tell you how. In reality, what I was supposed to do was I was supposed to be blindfolded and spun around, and then I was like a blind man buff, kind of just walk around the class trying to catch a student here, and was it likelihood of me randomly choosing a student who was less than 5 feet. However, that is what was supposed to happen. But to do this maths calculation, we cheat. Instead of me being blindfolded and I actually just randomly choosing somebody, what I do to cheat is I say, all students line up at the back of the class and go and sort yourself from smallest to biggest. Boom. I line all you up in class and my eyes open, and I walk in with a measuring tape and I go on by the shortest person and I measure. I say, how tall are you? Sir, I'm 4 feet tall. Okay, you shorter than 5 feet. Then I went to the next person and I marked the next person. So let me see how tall you are. Okay, you're 4.5 feet. You still shorter than 5 feet. Let me go to the next person in line. Remember, they are sorted. And I cheated. I checked in everybody. That person also was shorter than 5 feet. And I went to the next person, but this person happened to be 5 feet, not shorter than 5 feet. I say, okay, cool. Let me mark with the next person. All right. And I say, well, since I've done sort everybody out in order of height, I know the rest of them will be taller than 5 feet. So I ain't bothering to measure them. I get me 3 people that are new. I catch them because I cheated. So if I was to try all 8 people by cheating, right? I tried all 8 people. How much times would I really find a person that was lower than 5 feet? Out of
Likely.
how long? How much times? If I try all 8 people, 3 of the times. And I didn't hear 3.
Yes, sir.
3. So it's 3 times I would get through successfully in finding a person lower than 5 feet. And how much was all the times I tried? Because I cheat, I didn't get 1 chance. I get 8 chances to try. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Out of the 8 tries, 3 times I get through. My answer is 3 8s. You understand the story now, how probability works? If I was a represent,
Yes, sir.
So, in the paper, that how you're supposed to answer the question.
And you have the videos that the
Okay.
video explains it as well. So if I was to actually show 3 8s as a fraction, half, quarter, 8s, yeah, 3 8s would be 1 8, 2 8s, 3 8s. 3 8s would be this amount. So you're seeing now it's far better than 1 in a million chance, but it's still less than a half, right? So it's not as likely as, say, a half chance or a 3/4 chance, right? But that the smaller the fraction, the less likely it's going to happen. So you get to see the maths of probability. Remember my story. If you want to find the probability, you cheat. You line up everybody in a row, sort it out, and then you macro or interview every single person in the line. And that would, everybody in the line would be all tries. And out of all your tries, how much tries you're going to actually get a yes answer? And that is the number of yeses over the yeses and the no's, the all tries. And that would bring us to the end of today's lesson. You go back now to those videos where the question had a part on probability, and you will see it and understand it And the next day we have a class. I will go through it with you all, the probability part of the question from page 1. We have a page 1 that we had done already. The last part of it was a probability question. Page 3, all these are the questions that I've posted up in the past, and the last part of the question was probability. And you have the answers and so on. So you go through it and think the next day I will go through it with you all in case anybody was lazy and didn't want to go through it themselves. I want to guarantee that I did cover the work and understand it. And then we move on to page 4 of the statistics. Actually, I'm going to go back to page 2 because you realize I skipped out page 2. So the next day we have class, I'm going to go review probability and then go on to page 2 of the statistics. Have a good day, everyone. Take care.
You too, sir. Take care. Bye.
And don't forget, your homework is copy out these notes, replay the video,
Yes.
and write out your notes if you still have to copy it out.
So you're putting it on YouTube?
Oh, you want me to do that to make it easier to
stream?
Yes,
It recorded already.
So I want to go. I will go on the YouTube and watch a video.
Okay, yeah, we'll do it on YouTube. All right then. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, sir. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Yes, sir. Later, sir.
Later.
Bye, sir.
Bye-bye.
Sir.
Oh, yeah?
Sir, we have an thing later.
Oh, you... No, I can't. Wait, you want to... Wait, let me stop